it's just like, oh, what is that kind of thing. And then obviously, like, you know, you got your different color, like the, oh, I put the other one away. Like, you've got the yellow stuff and all sorts of things in Diablo. I don't think I've got anything else more special. I might up in my box, maybe. No, not that. This, like this thing being like an off color, but not actually yellow. Like that always stood out to me too. Calm down, chicken. Fucking hell. Jesus, I'm trying to like look through my inventory and chickens be fucking like going wild out here. It's mostly her. She keeps fucking running over them. I could just imagine her in real life. She would be like, you know, has anybody seen a video where there's like a kitten or a cat or something like that, and you just got like this big goofball dog that kind of just like keeps running through the area and kind of like, I don't know, not so much like knocking down the cat or whatever, but just like, I think running over the top of it, and it's just kind of big enough that it, like, I don't know, the cat tries to dodge it and ends up like looking like they're like stunned through the whole thing just from like the constant back and forth. It's like that. That's what I imagine's happening to a chicken, is you just see like my helper just go like running past and running past again and running past in like all these different directions, and this chicken's just getting bowled over the whole time. Obviously nothing's happening to a chicken, right? It's supposed to do that shit.
I can't.
Why not? I put it on the wrong fucking side. Of course you did. No, I didn't. How did I change that before? Oh, hold on. That was odd. I didn't realize that it automatically removed the spell, but I guess it does. I mean, it makes sense. Also, I'm using Immolation Arrow, which I haven't really used much yet, and I should really be using this at a point in time. I'll see how this goes. God, that looks amazing. Yeah, I've been using Explosive Arrow for the most part. These should be able to do enough, like, passive damage that I shouldn't actually need to, like, cast as much. Like that. I'll give it a go for like a few minutes and see how I feel about it. If I find it's not really draining my mana any faster than usual, I'll keep it on. Because yeah, I normally use Explosive Arrow for like a long time, then eventually I just use the Immolation Arrow. So I keep going to call it like Firewall. It's not Firewall. Like Firewall would be a line. That's the difference with Firewall. Good God, can I hit one of these? I can hear there's a shaman over here. There you are. I knew I could hear him somewhere. But actually, without hitting him, he takes quite a lot of damage from that. That could be worth my time. Yeah, usually, so what kind of happens with like attacks and stuff, at least for me, I don't remember if it's under S or, yeah, T. What kind of happens is I tend to go down like the fire line, and I go, once I've got Exploding Arrow, that's all I use for a bit. And then once I get Immolation Arrow, that's all I use kind of from then on out. That's why I kind of like sitting on like the previous levels of them now for longer, because it's more what I did originally, where I was like weighing up the pros and cons of using that much mana at times. Like this one is... mana cost is 6 for like up to 63 damage. This is, as far as I can tell, mana cost 6 up to 32 damage per second, which is a lot of damage per second versus per hit kind of thing. So like this is better to use. I just haven't used it. I haven't bothered to use it. Been there. I just figured I like the Explosive Arrow. I feel like with the normal Fire Arrow, I just like it. I'm pretty sure I've gone up through the center, but in case I haven't run up through here, in case there's anybody up here. Yeah, no, I did this. That's right. It was that whole little encampment thing. I just wanted to check. I was pretty sure. I also like how these bridges and stuff came in, because initially, I think maybe one of the first times I ever saw these, I thought to myself, was there going to be like a human encampment or something like that? Was this going to be like the next area? I thought that that's how this game would work, and that's not what it was. And the other thing too was it was kind of like, I kind of expected this to be safe because I was crossing a bridge, because, you know, the game had, yeah, you could walk out of the rogue encampment and, you know, you could either just walk out of it or you could go across a bridge right out of the place. But it just kind of like, in some way, ingrained that bridges were kind of a good thing in Diablo 2. Like, they're not, but still. I like the fact that this is only just a small stream. But I've always liked the fact that logically she finds the bridge and goes across it, because, I mean, she's kitted out in a shit ton of armor. You don't want to get that stuff wet. You don't want to get inside your armor wet. You know? I can't imagine that that's good for it. I back up. If I hit you and I back up, yeah, that's definitely worth my time to use that. Alright. Your way, put your way. Yeah. I don't mind cold resistant gear, but it's not super hugely important. There's a couple of areas in Diablo that just require you to have an amount of, oh, this is the thing. Yeah, it requires you to have an amount of resistance to fire and stuff, but it's so short of a distance, I don't really see the point in having it on all the time, kind of thing. I like getting, like, instead of getting things that, like, buff those things, I kind of like getting, full resistance instead. Eventually, what I will do is I hope to get my character either buffed out with gear or to a point where all of this is max resistance, because I had that once. And I liked it because I didn't have to worry if they hit me with some kind of elemental attack. I was just automatically just immune to the elemental damage. All I had to deal with was the actual damage taken on hit or impact or whatever. That was it. That meant you could literally stand in somebody's, like, casted fire and it doesn't fucking hurt you. Whoop. Sorry, I rubbed my eye, and apparently with, like, one eye closed, my hand's, like, ready to sell those gloves. Like, Jesus, alright. Can't fucking trust it, apparently. Yeah. The town portal. I love Diablo music, I really do. And, like, I know there's a lot of things in this game that I really enjoy. The music, the sounds, like how stuff looks, like the character design stuff, the naming system. Fuck, I love the naming system. I especially love the fact that everything was, like, custom named originally. You know, like, they didn't have the name generators, so somebody had to sit there and think of something. I just imagine them having, like, a list of cool sounding words and interesting sounding, like, variations, or what do you call it, the thesaurus of words for fucking elemental things, and just being like, okay, what do we call this? Do we call it, like, immolation, doom immolation or something? It's like, brilliant. I can put it on a monster. Like, that's what I imagine that they did. It's just had, like, team meetings where they just thought of the coolest names that they could, like, put on creatures. And why the fuck not? You know? I mean, if I was somebody that was, like, designing and making a game, I probably want that too. I see you inside there, you piece of shit. Let's set this place actually on fire. I can't get in the room. There we go. I love the fact that you can't tell that this, like, adds to this place because everything's on fire in here. Fantastic. There is one more outside. If I could get outside. For some reason it was having issues with that. Oh, shrine. Jesus. it gives me a lot of these, and I know that on one of my playthroughs, I actually ended up using them. I use Exploding Arrow and Poison Arrow at one point. Not arrow, fucking little potiony thingies. These things. Yeah. I did use them at once. It was difficult because if you don't pick up enough to throw more, you just don't have a weapon. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting. I think I had them as like a one-side like ranged attack, and then I had a different weapon. I think I did that on my scythe run, because I also did different kinds of weapons with different characters, different runs and stuff.
Overburdened.
Yeah, I know you are. We could do a little bit about that. Not a lot. I could pick up like a sword or another like set of bolts. There we go. Alright, back down. I think I was right next to a waypoint.
Greetings.
We'll see when I go back in if I was just right next to a fucking waypoint when I use my portal.
Greetings.
Because sometimes I'll do that too. I just do not like look for them. Oops. God, I gotta like take that a bit further over. There we go. I think I've still got stuff in the stash. When I come in from, you know, attackable map areas, I sell out like my inventory and stuff like that, but I can't remember by the time I finished selling my inventory if I've emptied out the cube or if it had anything in it. So I'll often sit there and I'll be like, did I have anything? Is it worth clicking on? Yes, I was right next to it. Fucking hell, what a waste. But yeah, sometimes I'll click on it and I'll be like, okay, oh, what do you call it? Yeah, the Herodic Cube thing. I just lost my train of thought for a minute there. Yeah, sometimes with the Herodic Cube, like I used to have a different kind of system towards it, was that I would usually kind of sell the items. I'm not sure how I used to do it. I think I used to just like sell a couple of items out of like my main inventory and then get the stuff out of my cube to fill that exact amount of space and then empty out the rest. I gotta go down that hole. I kind of forgot that they have like caves everywhere. I love that I keep forgetting shit. It's fantastic. I have been yawning so much tonight. So earlier tonight, probably closer to like 6 or 7 or so, I actually considered whether or not I should realistically like stream and stuff tonight, because I'm like, I wasn't asleep by that point. I'm like, if you know, the thing could happen where I fall asleep and then just don't wake up in time to stream or something like that. I'm like, I do want to stream, and it is Diablo, and Diablo is always like extra kind of relaxed, you know. So I already knew that that wasn't going to be any kind of an issue. I was watching that. I'm like, please don't drop stuff. But yeah, anyway. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I didn't know if I'd be up to it or not. And I'm like, I'm also one of those people where once I actually get up and once I like try to do something, I'm usually fine. So I sort of knew that I'm like, it won't probably be that much of an issue. Like when I get up, like I feel okay now. Diablo kind of like perks me up, you know. So if I haven't slept or I feel a bit blah, I don't feel as sick as when I started stream tonight. I just feel kind of very, I would not use the word comfortable. Comfortable is not the word. But you know, better-ish. A little bit better. I have a drink of my drink before I get too deep in here, actually. My helpers are busy running off. Well, she's not. I'm sorry, she's actually just standing in a fucking corner for once. It's unbelievable. I thought they were both down there doing that. I legitimately did. I'm like, oh, they've probably just both run off down there because they keep doing. The jewels. Fire damage. You know, Like, adding 1 to 10 fire damage is not a lot, but that's adding 1 to 10 fire damage on, I think, every hit? I think? Like, the potential to be, like, between 1 and 10 extra, more, like, stronger and stuff. So I don't really mind it. Not quite. I still like the battle staffs and stuff. I think staffs are pretty cool. Like, not so much necessarily to play like a monk character or something like that, but I just think that it's a cool sort of weapon sort of thing. Because, I don't know, like, if you've ever done any kind of, like, form of martial arts, you kind of, like, have to train with, like, dense stick, you know, more or less staff kind of thing. It definitely kind of shit, like, hits hard. I grew up doing, like, karate and stuff. So, like, while I didn't get to a point where I had to, like, practice with, like, a weapon and stuff, my brother did. He was just levels ahead of me. So, yeah, he ended up getting to a point where he was, like, you know, that black belt with, like, oh, what do you call it? I think it's like black belt with tips to suggest that you're going for like a second round or higher round or some shit like that, and then like learning the weapons and all sorts of like additional training and stuff. Pretty cool shit. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily for that reason that I like staffs and stuff. But it's quite funny, like, in my avatars, like, characters design and stuff like that, because, like, I've got stories and all sorts of, like, lore and stuff for her and whatever, but, like, it's kind of irrelevant, because, like, I don't play a character on stream and whatever. But, like, she's had all kinds of weapons and stuff in her history, and staves have been part of it, for sure. Like, different kinds, like, obviously, like, magical shit and non-magical stuff, and yeah. I don't know. I just kind of like the form of motion. Like, I saw somebody do... I think it was a Beat Saber game? I'm gonna assume it was a Beat Saber game. But I saw somebody play that like I've never seen before. That's why I was confused with what the fuck they were playing. And basically, they were playing as if, instead of having like individual like little swords that you kind of get in the game, they kind of had like one combined thing, the way that they were holding onto it and stuff. And they just made it look amazing, like they were like battling with like a staff or something. And I'm like, that is just the coolest shit. Mind you, like, Beat Saber is one of those games where I would love to play it if I had VR stuff. But I don't have VR stuff. And to some degree, I wouldn't mind, like, VR stuff getting lighter and smaller before actually, like, owning some of it. But if I had it, I would so have the, I would have Beat Saber. Because I quite like games like that. Like, I liked Guitar Hero and other stuff. I remember playing Guitar Hero so much with my friends at one point that when I went to sleep, like, whenever I shut my eyes, all I saw was the, like, line of dots coming towards me. It made sleeping really fucking difficult. Because I'm like, oh god, they're coming towards me, I'm not hitting buttons. You do something for long enough and your brain just goes, oh, this is new normal, but yeah. Also gave me dry eyes because I didn't blink as much because obviously I was trying to like see what I was doing. But it was still a fun game. I like games like that. I think it kind of takes me back to... I grew up with this little game. Also, I love how this room looks. Like, look how pretty it is. I grew up with this game that, at least as far as I knew, it was called Simon Says. And it would have... you have like a couple of lights on it and like buttons correlated with those lights, like colored buttons correlated to lights, and it would kind of like beep in a sequence and you'd have to kind of repeat the sequence, and every sequence it would add a little bit more to the sequence kind of thing. So I really do think... oh, Azula's got something again, hold up. I really do think that's probably where my interest in that kind of game has come from. Wait, gotta shift up. There we go. She just decided to like lay down where like most of her tail would have been in my way. Let me move that keyboard for you. There you go. You're about to fall off. She's like, she's laying down in the smallest like space, and she could like really like lay back. I might actually move the chair so she doesn't fall off. Zilla has this habit of falling into a really deep sleep on the desk, and she'll roll over in her sleep.
I can't carry anymore.
And a sleep Azula does not realize that there is a drop off on the edge of the desk. So she often rolls over and just falls straight off the desk. So I've learnt to put Nick's chair in a position where it will actually prevent her from just accidentally rolling straight off the desk. Like, she'll roll into it and she might slide a little bit, but she's not going to fall down. And it's too solid to move like that. So it helps.
Okay.
Plus, Phoenix is usually sleeping on the other side, so, you know. But yeah, this
Yes?
Simon Says game thing that I was talking about, I think is probably the origin of where, like, rhythmic games interest me so deeply. I've even been looking to just try and find, like, similar things, but, like, rhythm games that I could even just, like, click on just because I want to. But I don't find the same level of satisfaction from point and click rhythmic things as I do like tactile kind of stuff. So what I mean is like with the Simon Says thing that I had to physically click buttons in a sequence to like I could learn the combination and stuff like that. It was not so much easier, but it was like highly possible to play the thing, right? Whereas if like what do you call it?
Yes.
Guitar Hero, you press the buttons again in like time with the thing. With the Beat Saber, you move your arms in time with the thing. It's a physical motion that you can kind of muscle memory learn. That's more what I'm kind of like looking for. But like I said, I don't have any VR stuff, so it makes it difficult because I can't just like get in and play a game or something. But that would just be amazing. Honestly, if I had something like that, I would probably spend like, I can't really say like all of my time playing it, but I would probably have that as its own fucking dedicated thing. Because I would play the shit out of it. I'd also love to have, like, there's a couple of people that I watch where they've got, like, for Beat Saber and stuff, they've got, like, their own, like, character and avatar or whatever in the game. And I don't know if it's, like, something that they've had designed. I know one of them has their own avatar outside of it, and they've got it customized or imported, whatever they've had to do to get her into the game. That's pretty cool. I like the idea of that because, like, it's like getting to watch her, like, 3D, but, you know, still her avatar, which I thought is really, really cool. And then, yeah, like, going into motion of, like, enjoying the game and stuff, but I'm like, it is also a pretty incredibly physical game as well. Oh, ethereal. I thought that was a different color for a second. I don't know why. It's a pretty physical kind of game because it's all body instead of just like your hands or a couple fingers or, you know, stuff like that, like with the Guitar Hero and whatnot. So, as like basically somebody that has like waning health throughout like the months and stuff, and like asthmatic conditions and stuff, I can't really imagine it being the easiest on me to like actually like have it go out, but I think it's one of those things like you could build it up over time kind of thing, which would be pretty cool. I am using a lot of arrows, but I'm not actually using enough that I want to buy or keep more arrows. I don't know if I've got space for more rejuvenation potions. I guess I should get rid of the The all resistance is plus 21. God, that's beautiful. I should get rid of the excess mana for it. But at the same time, I know when I end up going for like big battles, I'm gonna want like more mana, but I end up using rejuvenation potions as a replacement for health down the line. That way I'm getting health and mana at like all times, so everyone there, Jesus. Terrible. I love the fact that it's like perpetually full, and I don't know what my helper's fascination with chasing chickens around camp is. She has like a serious problem with it. We'll be standing here, right? Or wherever a chicken is. Let me see. So I could be standing here, right? Mind my own business. And chicken's just up over there. And out of nowhere, she'll just go fucking running at it. And I don't know if that's by design or if it's just a coincidence. Because, yeah, I've noticed it. She does it a lot when I'm trying to put fucking points into stats. And I'll be sitting there and the next thing I just, like, I see her run off somewhere. And all of a sudden I've just got, like, chicken noises going berserk in the background. I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? You know? I'm just standing still and she's just, like, zipping around all over the place. I thought this might have gone a bit further, but it didn't. I don't know what the sound of that noise is. In the music, I mean. I've never, like, sat down and tried to decipher what all the different musical instruments are. And for starters, well, that one sounds like a guitar, but, like, I'm not really one to sit there and do that to music anyway, but I also kind of, like, am not very good at it, generally speaking, because I don't listen and analyze music that much. But, like, as somebody that enjoys techno music, one of the biggest things I find is a lot of the times what I think is an instrument, it's not an instrument. You know? Like, I was listening to something earlier, and when they actually showed where all the sound clips and stuff was pulled from, the bass drum was 2 hair straightening irons. Basically, like, working on extremely curly, extremely long hair. And the person, instead of, like, using one in a hand or one in a brush, was just going, like, toe to toe with 2 fucking heating iron thingies, and was just, like, fucking, like, running through the fucking hair with it, like a fucking drum solo. I'm like, well, that's not what I was expecting that to be. Like, this explains some things about music sometimes, because I'm like, I can't pick it. And what else was there? There was something else that was sampled. And I've always wondered with, like, different kinds of techno music what stuff is. Like I said, like, it makes me curious because I'm like, I don't know what that is, you know? And there was one where I'm like, man, I hear stuff like that in like old kind of like early electronica kind of stuff. Like, what is that? Like, I don't know. And then I actually see what it is, and it's a fucking, like, water pressure machine or some shit like that, where somebody's just, like, timed the music, and it sounds interesting, so they've sampled it, and then they've, like, tweaked it, and all of a sudden, now you've got a fucking album. You know? I'm like, what the hell? It's been really quite amusing to me to, like, not so much, like, see old music and see what it was, but, like, it makes me sit there and think sometimes about what else have I listened to, you know, that wasn't actually an instrument. Like, it was just somebody sampled something. And then it also makes me think of, like, because, like, I like watching Bob's Burgers too, right? So, one of the things is, one of the Belcher kids, it's like Bob Belcher, right? And his kids and wife and stuff, right? So one of the kids has, like, this keyboard thing, and they're always, like, taking little samples and, like, mixing it into songs and all sorts of stuff. And it's usually, you know, it's a kid thing. He's, like, sampling, like, people ripping farts and all kinds of stuff, right? And I'm like, you know, adult me's like, people wouldn't be doing that. Like, not really. Like, this is obviously played up for a show. And then since like learning this, like what the fuck the sound of things are coming from, I'm now starting to wonder, like, plus also getting a little bit better like understanding of people thanks to like what I do on the internet. I can see people doing that like with purpose and intent, and like making something decent out of
I
it.
am overburdened.
I also watched somebody else do something like that the other day too. Oh, what they... I think it was the Fat Rat. There's a... I don't know what he's classified as,
Stay
but
a
there's
while and
basically this
listen.
guy